You've seen the claims. This penny is worth $1 million. This quarter can make you rich overnight. But is it true? The truth is, most of it is completely fake. Exaggerated prices, misleading hype. That's what we're here to expose. Welcome to Rare Coin Collecting.
People online love to say there's a Washington State Quarter out there that could make you rich overnight. They'll post pictures of a coin that looks just like the one in your pocket and claim it's worth a fortune, sometimes even saying it's one of the rarest coins in the State Quarter program. But here's the thing. While there are indeed rare and valuable Washington quarters, most of the ones you see hyped up online aren't going to pay for your next vacation. This is where real numismatic knowledge matters, because the truth is much more interesting than the myths. Let's rewind to 2007. When the Washington State Quarter was released as part of the United States Mint's wildly successful 50 State Quarters program. By then, this program had been running for almost a decade, with collectors, new and experienced alike, eagerly waiting for each state's design to hit circulation. Washington's design featured a beautiful scene, a leaping salmon in front of Mount Rainier, with lush evergreen trees completing the view. It's a coin that captures the essence of the Pacific Northwest perfectly. But like every coin, the details matter. The mint mark, the condition, and any varieties or errors can make a world of difference in value. The Washington Quarter with a P mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and here's a detail that catches people off guard. In 2007, Philadelphia struck hundreds of millions of these coins. That means if you've got one in regular circulated condition, it's not automatically rare. But here's where the suspense builds. Even in massive mintages, mistakes happen, and that's where certain coins break away from the pack. It could be a doubled die, a striking error, a die crack, or even a missing design element. And when those are combined with high grades from professional coin grading services, you start talking about coins that can turn heads in the collecting world. Collectors look closely at these Washington P quarters for sharpness of strike, luster, and any sign of an unusual variety. A double die obverse, for example, might show extra thickness or doubling in the date or lettering. Sometimes you'll see dramatic die breaks that give the coin a completely unique appearance. Then there are off-center strikes, where the design is noticeably shifted, leaving a blank crescent of metal on one side. Those kinds of errors are rare enough that they'll draw serious attention. Condition is king in the coin world. A Washington P quarter that's been jingling in pockets and cash registers for years will have wear on Washington's hair, on the salmon's fins, and in the fine details of the mountain in the background. But a pristine, uncirculated example, especially one pulled fresh from a mint roll in 2007 and carefully preserved, can be a completely different story. That's when professional grading becomes worth considering, because a perfect mint state grade can multiply a coin's desirability among collectors. It's also worth noting that while Philadelphia minted the majority of these coins for general circulation, there were also satin finish versions released in special mint sets that year. These satin coins weren't intended for everyday use, and their surfaces have a completely different look, almost silky compared to the brilliant shine of a regular mint state quarter. If you've got one of these, it didn't come from your pocket change, and it's already a more specialized collector piece. The misinformation online often comes from people mixing up these standard quarters with rare error examples. A normal Washington P State Quarter isn't going to sell for an incredible amount. But if you know exactly what to look for, if you've trained your eyes to spot tiny varieties, subtle minting flaws, and coins in outstanding preservation, you can find pieces that truly stand out. That's how seasoned collectors make real discoveries in what others might think are just ordinary coins. One of the most exciting things about the 50 State Quarters program is how it brought millions of new people into the hobby. Even now, years after the last state design was released, collectors are still finding hidden gems in circulation, and the Washington P Quarter is no exception. Every time one crosses your path, it's a chance to check for those key features, the kind that separate an everyday coin from a numismatic prize. So the next time you hear someone online say that every Washington P Quarter is worth a small fortune, you'll know better. The truth is more nuanced, but also more rewarding. Because it means you're learning how to think like a real collector, spotting details that others miss. And that's exactly the kind of knowledge that builds lasting success in coin collecting. At Rare Coin Collecting, we're here to cut through the hype and give you the facts that matter. Whether you're an investor, a collector, a buyer, or a seller, understanding the real story behind coins like the Washington P quarter is what sets you apart from the crowd. Keep your eyes open, your coins protected, and your curiosity sharpened, because the next great find might be sitting right in your change. People online keep claiming this coin could make you a fortune. They'll throw out jaw-dropping numbers, post blurry pictures, and tell you that any Washington quarter in your pocket could be worth thousands. It's the kind of claim that spreads like wildfire in coin groups. But here's the truth. While this coin can be special, the reality is far more fascinating than the hype. And it has everything to do with history. Minting details and collector demand. The 2007 Washington State Quarter was part of the U.S. Mint's incredibly successful State Quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008. Each state got its own reverse design, celebrating its heritage and symbols. Washington's design is striking. A majestic salmon leaping in front of Mount Rainier with the state's nickname. The Evergreen State proudly displayed. The Denver Mint struck the D-Mint mark version, and it rolled out to banks, change drawers, and collector sets all over the country. Here's where the misinformation begins. People online often don't understand that most of these quarters are common. The Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of them for circulation. That means finding one in worn, pocket change condition is about as exciting as finding a modern dime, at least to most collectors. The value only rises when we start talking about rare errors, special mint set coins, and high-grade certified examples. So what exactly makes the 2007 Washington State Quarter worth looking for? First, condition. In coin collecting, grade is king. A coin straight from the Denver Mint that has never entered circulation, no scratches. Nowhere can be worth much more than its face value, especially if it grades MS67 or higher at a top grading service like PCGS or NGC. But those grades are rare, because most coins got jostled in bags, rolled into paper wrappers, and handled before anyone thought to save them. Then there are the varieties and errors, and this is where things get exciting. Some 2007 Washington quarters have been found with striking errors like die cracks, off-center strikes, and even partial collar strikes. These are minting mistakes that happen during production, and they can make a coin far more valuable to specialists. There's also the possibility of doubled dies, though they're not as well documented for this year as they are for other state quarters. Collectors also pay attention to repunched mint marks and die chips, especially in dramatic locations like near the salmon or in the lettering. Another factor is the collector market itself. Washington State Quarters were part of a program that brought millions of new people into coin collecting, and that means there's steady interest. But the hype cycles can be dangerous. Every few months, someone will post a coin with machine, doubling or damage, and insist it's a rare variety worth thousands. Unfortunately, most of those are just worn coins, post-mint damage, or common strike anomalies. The real key is understanding that value comes from a combination of rarity, condition, and demand. A top-graded 2007 Washington quarter with no visible marks can sell for an impressive premium, but only a tiny fraction of the coins minted meet that standard. Error coins can also command strong prices, but only when the error is dramatic and verified by experts. This is why on Rare Coin Collecting we always say, knowledge is your best investment. Instead of chasing every viral claim, study the real mintages, learn the difference between damage and a mint error, and know what professional grading standards look like. That's how you turn an ordinary coin search into a smart, informed hunt. So if you've got a 2007 Washington State Quarter, check it carefully. Look for sharp details, original luster, and any unusual minting features. If it looks flawless, consider having it graded. And remember, the real treasure in coin collecting isn't just the money. It's the thrill of discovery and the history in your hands. For investors, collectors, buyers, and sellers who want the truth and no hype, no clickbait, this is Rare Coin Collecting, your trusted source for real numismatic knowledge. People all over the internet claim this Washington S-clad quarter is worth thousands, and some even say it could make you rich overnight. Sounds exciting, right? But here's the problem. Most of those videos and posts are either leaving out critical details or are completely misleading. If you don't know the truth about this coin, you could waste a lot of time and miss the real opportunities it offers. Let's break it down the way we do here at Rare Coin Collecting. No hype, no clickbait, just real numismatic knowledge. The Washington S-clad quarter was minted in San Francisco, but unlike the quarters you find in your pocket change, this one was never meant for everyday circulation. These are proof coins, specially struck for collectors, with extra sharp details and mirror-like fields. In fact, each one was produced using polished dies and carefully prepared planchets, making them dramatically different from the regular business strike quarters from Philadelphia and Denver. The year and design in question fall within the U.S. Mint's proof production program. Mintage numbers are far lower than circulation coins. But here's where people get confused. Low mintage doesn't automatically mean high value. For the Washington S-clad proof, millions were still made for collectors. While that's a fraction of regular issue coins, it's not rare in the absolute sense. What really determines value is condition, and in proof coins that means perfect, untouched surfaces without even the tiniest spot, haze, or hairline. A proof 70 deep cameo graded example can bring a premium, but a coin with even a single imperfection drops sharply in price. Now there are a few things that can make this coin stand out. Some proof quarters can have striking errors, things like missing layers, inverted mint marks, or extreme doubling from hub issues. These are rare, but they do exist, and they're where serious collectors start paying attention. The S-clad version is also important because many people confuse it with the S, silver proof version. While they share the same mint mark and finish, the silver proof is struck on a 90% silver planchet and has a heavier weight and different edge color. The clad proof has a copper-nickel composition, and if you know how to tell the difference, you'll never mistake one for the other. So here's the bottom line. The Washington S-clad quarter can absolutely have value, but not for the reasons you've probably seen online. The real money is in perfect graded proofs or rare dramatic errors. If you know what to look for, you can separate the everyday collector pieces from the truly exceptional ones. Here at Rare Coin Collecting, we're committed to giving investors, collectors, buyers, and sellers the real facts about coins like this, not the recycled myths that keep circulating online. If you're serious about building a collection or understanding the true market for coins, you're in the right place. They say George Washington's face is everywhere, but today we're not just talking about any quarter with his portrait. We're diving deep into one of the most sought-after proofs from the modern U.S. Mint era, the 1999 S Silver Washington Quarter. Now, before you assume this is just another shiny piece of metal, let me tell you, there's a lot more to this coin than meets the eye. First, the basics, and then we'll peel back the layers. The S Mint mark tells us this quarter was struck at the San Francisco Mint, but this wasn't just a regular circulation coin. It was a proof. A coin made specifically for collectors, not for everyday pocket change. Proof coins are struck with polished dies on specially prepared planchets, giving them razor-sharp details and mirror-like fields that almost look like liquid silver. And yes, in this case, it is real silver. The composition is 90% silver, 10% copper, a throwback to the pre-1965 era before silver was pulled from circulating quarters. That's already a big deal for collectors. But it's only the beginning of why this coin is special. You see, 1999 wasn't just any year in U.S. coin history. It was the launch year of the 50 State Quarters program, the most ambitious coin series the U.S. Mint had ever undertaken. But here's the twist. The 1999 S Silver Washington Quarter refers specifically to the proof version of the Washington design in its final form before the state quarters took over. This coin represents the end of an era. Think about it. For decades, from 1932 onward, Washington's bust had dominated the quarter. In 1999, that design was about to be overshadowed by a whole lineup of new state-themed reverses, and yet here the Mint was, quietly producing these silver-proof Washington quarters for collectors as a sort of farewell. It's like a curtain call before the big show. Now, how rare are they? Well, rare is a word that gets thrown around a lot in coin, collecting circles and often without much meaning. But the truth is, this isn't a coin you'll stumble upon in change. It was sold directly to collectors in proof sets, and the total mintage for the 1999 S silver Washington proof was relatively low compared to regular circulating quarters, just over 800,000 pieces. That might sound like a lot until you realize how many collectors there are today chasing these coins in pristine condition, and condition is everything. In lower grades, it's worth more for its silver content than anything else. But in PR69 or PR70 Deep Cameo, the highest grade certified by PCGS or NGC, it becomes a showcase coin. Flawless strikes, no haze, no milk spots, no hairlines, just a perfect mirror and frosted devices. That's what gets serious collectors reaching for their wallets. People keep saying there's a Montana State Quarter out there that could make you rich overnight. Some even claim it's worth thousands of dollars, just because it has a P mint mark. But before you rush to dig through your change jar, let's slow down and look at what's actually true. Because here at Rare Coin Collecting, we believe in cutting through the hype and giving you the real facts that serious collectors trust. First, let's talk about the basics. The Montana State Quarter was released in 2007 as part of the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program. On the obverse, you have George Washington's portrait, the standard across all state quarters in the series. But flip it over, and you're greeted by one of the most striking, reverse designs of the entire program, a massive bison skull floating above the rugged Montana landscape, with the state motto Big Sky Country proudly inscribed. This imagery is powerful. It reflects Montana's wide-open plains, its frontier history, and its deep connection to the Wild West. Now here's where things get interesting. The P mint mark means this coin was minted in Philadelphia. In 2007, the Philadelphia Mint struck a very large number of these, over 257 million. That's a massive mintage, which means most Montana P quarters in circulation today are common. But just because they're common doesn't mean they're all worth only face value. Certain factors can dramatically raise their value in the eyes of collectors. One major factor is condition. If your Montana P quarter is still in pristine, uncirculated condition, no scratches, no wear, full mint luster, then you may have something special. High-grade examples, especially those graded MS67 or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC, can fetch strong prices because they're much harder to find. The second factor is errors and varieties. This is where the hunt gets exciting. Some Montana P quarters have been discovered with striking errors, off-center strikes, die cracks, extra metal, or unusual doubling on the lettering. These minting mistakes are rare, and collectors will pay a premium for them, especially when they're dramatic and eye-catching. There's also a very specific variety that's been spotted. Examples with strong die breaks or cuds along the rim, giving them a unique appearance. If you happen to find one of these in high grade, it could be far more desirable than a standard Montana P. Now about that viral misinformation, you've probably seen online posts claiming that every Montana P quarter is worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars just because of the mint mark. That's simply not true. Remember, with over 257 million minted, most are still worth 25 cents unless they have something exceptional going for them. Condition, rarity, or a rare error. Let's also not forget the historical connection. The bison skull isn't just a decorative choice. It's a symbol of the wildlife that once roamed Montana in massive herds, and a nod to Native American heritage, where the bison held deep spiritual and cultural meaning. For collectors, that connection adds emotional value, making the coin more than just metal. It's a small piece of Montana's story. If you're looking to collect Montana P quarters, I'd recommend focusing on three things. 1. High grades, MS66, MS67, or higher if you can find them. 2. Error examples. The more dramatic and visible, the better. Certified coins, slabbed and graded by trusted services to guarantee authenticity. One last note. If you do find something you believe is rare, don't just rely on online pictures or hype videos to judge its value. Get it evaluated by a professional. That's the only way to know for sure. Here at Rare Coin Collecting, we're on a mission to teach real numismatic knowledge, without clickbait or fake million-dollar claims. The Montana P State Quarter is a beautiful coin, and in the right condition or with the right error, it can absolutely be valuable. But the key is knowing what actually matters. So if you're an investor, a collector, a buyer, or a seller, and you want real, reliable information that helps you make smart decisions, subscribe to Rare Coin Collecting and keep learning with us. People online love to claim that a Montana State Quarter with a D mint mark could make you rich overnight. Some even say these coins are worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. But before you start digging through your change, let's separate fact from fiction, because here at Rare Coin Collecting, we focus on real numismatic knowledge, not clickbait. The Montana State Quarter was released in 2007 as part of the 50 State Quarters program. The D mint mark indicates this coin was produced at the Denver Mint. On the reverse, you'll find a striking bison skull with the rugged Montana mountains in the background, accompanied by the words Big Sky Country in 1889, the year Montana joined the Union. It's a visually stunning coin, reflecting the state's Western heritage and connection to wildlife. Now here's the reality. The Denver Mint produced over 200 million Montana D quarters in 2007. That's a huge number, which makes most of them common in circulation. But don't dismiss it completely. There are ways to spot coins that are truly valuable to collectors. Condition is key. Coins in gem uncirculated condition, MS65, MS66 or higher, are much more sought after than worn coins. Proof-like strike, strong luster, and sharp details can dramatically increase a coin's market value. Then there are mint errors and varieties. Some Montana D quarters have been found with off-center strikes, doubled dies, die cracks, or partial collar issues. These anomalies are rare and can make a coin stand out to collectors. For example, a bold double die or a pronounced die crack along the bison skull area can significantly raise the coin's appeal. You may have seen online videos claiming your Montana D quarter could be worth thousands. Most of these are misleading. With over 200 million minted, ordinary circulated coins are generally only worth face value. Only high-grade examples or coins with notable errors have real premium potential. Now let's talk about how to buy, sell, and protect these coins. If you're collecting for investment, focus on certified coins graded by PCGS or NGC. Slabbing ensures authenticity and protects the coin from damage. Never attempt harsh cleaning that can destroy the luster and drastically lower value. If a coin looks dirty, gentle rinsing with distilled water and air drying is safe. Selling is all about timing and presentation. Coins in top grades or with known errors can be sold through auction houses like Heritage Auctions or eBay, but make sure you provide clear photos and accurate descriptions. Graded coins consistently fetch higher prices than raw, uncertified pieces. Historically, the Montana Quarter is more than just a collectible. It represents the state's wildlife history and heritage. The bison skull is a tribute to the animals that once roamed the plains in massive numbers and were central to Native American life. Owning a Montana Quarter is like holding a piece of history in your hand. So while the Montana D State Quarter may not be an instant jackpot for most collectors, it holds value for those who understand condition, errors, and grading. Pay attention to details, seek certified examples, and remember, only coins in pristine condition or with unique minting anomalies can command significant premiums. At Rare Coin Collecting, we aim to give collectors, investors, buyers, and sellers the real story behind each coin and without hype. If you're serious about coin collecting, this is where you'll find the knowledge you need to make smart, informed decisions. You might have seen people online claiming that a Montana State Quarter with an S mint mark is worth a fortune. Some even throw around numbers in the thousands. But before you start dreaming of hitting a jackpot, let's break down what's actually going on. This is the Montana S-clad quarter, a coin minted at the San Francisco Mint in 2007 as part of the U.S. 50 State Quarters program. The S mint mark tells us it's a San Francisco strike, but unlike the silver-proof versions, this coin is clad, meaning it's made of copper and nickel, not silver. That doesn't make it worthless, though. It still has a beautiful sharp strike with polished details that catch the eye. And it's a collector's coin rather than one intended for everyday circulation. The reverse design is iconic. A bison skull set against Montana's majestic mountains, accompanied by the state motto, Big Sky Country, and the year 1889, Montana's statehood year. The attention to detail in the bison skull and the rugged backdrop makes this one of the most visually appealing quarters in the State Quarters program. Now let's talk numbers and rarity. The San Francisco Mint struck around 14 million Montana S-clad quarters. That's small compared to the millions produced at Philadelphia and Denver. But it's not a rare coin in the sense of extreme scarcity. Many collectors own this coin, so the hype you see online about thousands of dollars is largely exaggerated. However, there is still value here, especially in high-grade coins. Coins in mint state condition with full luster and no contact marks are sought after. Grading plays a huge role, and MS65 or MS66 clad proof can fetch a solid premium over face value, while a PR70 perfect proof is extremely rare and can command hundreds in auction settings. The maximum known sales for these pristine examples have reached a few $100s, nowhere near the sensationalized thousands often claimed. Errors and varieties can also make a big difference. Some Montana S-clad quarters have off-center strikes, die cracks, or subtle doubled dies. These anomalies are collectible because they're unusual, and collectors will pay extra for dramatic examples. Even minor variations in the bison skull or mountain details can distinguish a coin from the mass-produced standard issues. If you're buying or collecting Montana S-clad quarters, here's what to do. First, inspect condition closely. Look for scratches, dull spots, or handling marks. Avoid coins that have been cleaned aggressively, as this can destroy their value. If a coin is tarnished or slightly dirty, a gentle rinse with distilled water and air drying is safe. Never use chemical cleaners or abrasive cloths. For selling, professional grading is key. A coin slabbed by PCGS or NGC guarantees authenticity and condition. Take clear, high-quality photos and list any known varieties or striking anomalies. Auction houses like Heritage or eBay are the main venues, but proper documentation and accurate descriptions are crucial to maximizing value. Collectors also consider market demand. Clad S coins from San Francisco are popular among State Quarter enthusiasts because they were minted in lower numbers than Philadelphia or Denver strikes. This makes well-preserved examples more desirable, especially for those completing a state-specific collection. Finally, understanding the coin's historical context adds depth. This quarter represents Montana's Western heritage and the bison, an animal central to the state's ecosystem and culture. Owning one of these coins is more than just collecting metal. It's holding a piece of Montana history in your hands. So, while the Montana S-clad quarter isn't a lottery ticket, it's a valuable collectible in the right condition. The keys to real value are grading, error spotting, preservation, and knowing the market. The top examples can reach a few $100s at auction, especially when certified PR69 or PR70, but the majority remain modestly priced. A reminder that understanding coins is far more rewarding than chasing hype. At Rare Coin Collecting, we aim to teach serious collectors, investors, buyers, and sellers what truly matters. No hype, no clickbait, just facts, history, and the thrill of discovering coins with genuine collector value. If you're serious about your coin collection, stick around, subscribe, and keep learning. Because this is only the beginning of uncovering what really counts in coin collecting. Some people claim a Montana State Quarter can be worth thousands of dollars. I've even seen headlines shouting, $7,000 for a single quarter. Is that hype, or is there a real coin out there that's actually worth that much? Today we're diving into the 2007 Silver Montana State Quarter. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which ones are worth big money. And if you might have one sitting in your own home right now, the coin in question isn't your everyday pocket change. It's a special proof coin, minted in San Francisco with a small S mint mark, and struck in 90% silver. In flawless condition, some of these have reached astonishing prices at auction. And here's the best part. Many of them are still tucked away in proof sets, just waiting to be discovered. The 2007 Montana Quarter was released on January 29, 2007, as part of the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program. The design shows a bison skull set against Montana's rugged mountains, a tribute to both the state's Native American culture and its wild beauty. The S Mint mark means it was struck at the San Francisco Mint, and the silver-proof version had a mintage of only about 7 million coins, tiny compared to the hundreds of millions of regular copper-nickel quarters. These coins are 90% silver and 10% copper, weighing 6.25 grams, with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. Each one contains about 0.1808 troy ounces of pure silver. What makes some of these quarters worth more than others? Errors and varieties can make a huge difference. Watch for double die obverse examples, where letters like Liberty or In God We Trust appear doubled. Off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing, are highly collectible. Clipped planchets, where the coin has a curved bite missing from the edge, are also desirable. And among proofs, deep cameo examples with frosty designs and mirror-like fields are especially valuable. Condition matters just as much as rarity. A standard silver proof in average condition might be worth $15 to $20. A PR69 deep cameo can bring in $50 to $100. But in perfect PR70 deep cameo, these coins regularly sell for $150 to $300. The current record price for this coin is $329, sold at heritage auctions in 2017. Major error proofs have even topped $500. If you want to hunt for one, check U.S. Mint Silver Proof sets from 2007. They might be in boxes in your attic, in a safe, or tucked into an inherited collection. Garage sales and estate sales are great places to find them. And occasionally a silver proof will turn up in circulation when someone breaks a proof set and spends the coins. Real auction prices tell the story. In January 2017, Heritage Auctions sold a PR70 deep cameo for $329. In 2023, multiple eBay sales hit between $180 and $250 for perfect PR70 coins. Error examples like an off-center silver proof graded PR68 have brought over $500. If you're buying one, always purchase graded coins from PCGS or NGC to avoid counterfeits or altered coins. When buying raw proof sets, inspect for haze, spotting, or toning, because these flaws reduce value. Trusted buying platforms include Heritage Auctions, Great Collections, Stack's Bowers, and reputable eBay sellers with strong feedback. Remember, buy the coin, not the story. Avoid listings that rely on hype without professional grading. If you're selling, have the coin graded first. If you believe it might reach PR69 or PR70 quality, grading can double or triple your price. Auction houses tend to bring more than fixed price listings, and avoid quick cash for coins buyers who only pay wholesale. At Rare Coin Collecting, we bring you the truth behind the coins that matter, without the hype. If you're a coin investor, collector, buyer, or seller, subscribe now and join us on the hunt for America's most fascinating coins. We're just getting started, and there are many more treasures waiting to be uncovered. Some people think all state quarters are only worth 25 cents. But the truth is, a few rare ones can sell for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. The 2060 South Dakota State Quarter is one of those coins you need to know about. Could you have one sitting in your change jar right now? Let's find out. The South Dakota Quarter was released on November 6, 2006, as part of the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program. It features Mount Rushmore, framed by the state bird, the Chinese ring-necked pheasant, flying across the design with wheat stalks on either side. The D Mint mark means it was struck at the Denver Mint, and over 265 million of them were made for circulation. That's a huge number, but a very small percentage have the right combination of condition and rarity to be worth serious money. This coin is made of a copper-nickel-clad composition. That's 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, weighing 5.67 grams and measuring 24.3 millimeters in diameter. So what makes one valuable? Condition grading and rare errors. In ordinary circulated condition, it's worth face value, but in top grades, this coin can be surprisingly valuable. In MS-67, prices can reach $100 to $150. In MS-68, we're talking about some of the highest prices for modern state quarters. One of the biggest recorded sales was 760 at Heritage auctions for a Denver minted South Dakota quarter graded MS-68, but condition isn't the only thing to watch for. Certain striking errors can dramatically raise value. Double D obverse varieties, where lettering shows doubling, can command premiums. Off-center strikes that clearly cut into the design can sell for $100 to $300 or more. Clipped planchets, where part of the metal blank is missing, are also collectible. There are even examples with die breaks, raised metal lines from cracks in the die, that bring in strong prices from error collectors. If you want the best chance at finding one, look closely at uncirculated rolls from banks, check mint sets from 2006, and dig through coin jars, especially from the Mountain West region where Denver coins were most common. Estate sales and coin dealer junk bins can also be great hunting grounds. If you're looking to buy a high-grade South Dakota quarter, always stick to coins graded by PCGS or NGC. These top-grade coins, MS-67 and especially MS-68, are where the real value lies. Avoid sellers using phrases like unsearched rolls, without clear photos and certification. The safest places to buy are heritage auctions, great collections, Stack's Bowers, or established eBay sellers with strong feedback. If you're selling, grading is key. An ungraded coin might only sell for a few dollars, but once it's certified as MS-68, it could bring hundreds. Avoid pawn shops or quick cash for coins buyers, who pay only a fraction of market value. The bottom line is that while most 2060 South Dakota quarters will only ever be worth face value, a small number in top grades or with dramatic mint errors can bring in serious money. At Rare Coin Collecting, we bring you the truth behind the coins that matter, without hype, without clickbait, just real knowledge for serious collectors, investors, and sellers. Subscribe now, because the next coin we cover might just be the one hiding in your pocket right now. Some people think state quarters are just pocket change, but certain rare ones can be worth far more than 25 cents. The 2006 South Dakota State Quarter is one of those coins that, in the right condition, can bring surprising money. Could you have one right now without even knowing it? Let's find out. The South Dakota Quarter was released on November 6, 2006, as part of the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program. The design shows Mount Rushmore, framed by the Chinese ring-necked pheasant flying overhead, with stalks of wheat on both sides, a nod to the state's agriculture and heritage. The P Mint mark means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and over 265 million of them were made for circulation, with a mintage that high. Most are common, but a small percentage in flawless condition or with rare, mint errors can be worth far more than face value. The coin is made of a copper-nickel clad composition, 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, weighing 5.67 grams and measuring 24.3 millimeters across. In average circulated condition, the Philadelphia version is worth only a quarter, but for serious collectors, high-grade uncirculated examples are the key. In MS-67, prices often reach $50 to $75. In MS-68, they can skyrocket, with some sales recorded over $500. One of the highest prices ever paid for a 2006 South Dakota Quarter was 5/16 at Heritage auctions for a certified MS-68 example. Mint errors are another value booster. Look for double die obverse coins where the letters show doubling, off-center strikes where part of the design is missing, or clipped planchets with a curved edge cut. Die breaks where cracks in the die leave raised metal lines on the coin can also add value. If you want to hunt for a valuable one, start by searching through uncirculated mint rolls or 2006 mint sets. These are often found in estate sales, coin shops, or even tucked away in old change jars. While the Philadelphia coins were mostly distributed in the eastern United States, if you're buying, always choose coins graded by PCGS or NGC, especially in the top grades of MS-67 and MS-68. Avoid listings that promise rare finds without certification. Photographs and reputable Grading are your only protection against overpaying. If you're selling, remember that grading can be the difference between a $2 sale and a $500 sale. Avoid pawn shops or quick cash buyers who pay well below market value. Auction houses or online coin auction platforms typically bring the highest prices, while most 2006p South Dakota quarters will always be worth just 25 cents. The small number of top grade examples and dramatic error coins are the ones to watch for. At Rare Coin Collecting, we bring you the truth behind the coins that matter. No hype, no clickbait, just real knowledge for collectors, sellers, buyers, and investors. Subscribe now, because the next coin we cover could be the one hiding in your change jar right now.